Florencia Lobos heard a quiet cry in the bushes. She went to check and found a cute kitten. She took the kitten with her and said, "You'll be with me always." But a few months later, something very sad and unexpected happened when she took the cat to the vet. Florencia lived in the northern part of Tucumán province in Argentina with her parents. When she was younger, she really wanted a younger brother or sister, no matter if they were a boy or a girl. She believed she could enjoy doing everything she wanted with her siblings, no matter their gender. A few years later, her parents gave her the gift of a baby brother. Florencia and her younger brother did everything as a team. They played soccer, video games, and other sports. They both love animals and hope to have pets one day. However, when Florencia got into college, her little brother, who was still in high school, had mixed feelings. He was happy for her, but he also felt a bit sad. He wondered who would go hunting with him or play video games. The teenager expressed his concerns, and Florencia reassured him by saying that even though she was going to college, she would come back home as often as she could, and they would still do everything together. Just as she promised, each time she visited home, she and her brother spent a lot of time in nature and played several games too. It was during one of these visits that they had an unforgettable experience. Florencia had gone home one day and met her excited brother waiting anxiously for her at the door. He told her he had found a nearby river where they could fish. "I'm sorry I went alone for the first time, but I didn't go again. Ever since then, we have to go early tomorrow morning," he pleaded, holding his sister's loving hands. Even though she had never gone fishing, she could never say no to her beloved brother, so she agreed. The next morning, Florencia and her brother got up even earlier than usual and prepared to start their day. Soon, they were at the river, fishing and having a lot of fun. But something unexpected happened as they were preparing to leave. They heard a faint cry that made them stop in their tracks. "Did you hear that?" Florencia whispered, and her brother nodded in affirmation. For the next few minutes, everything was silent, and they thought nothing was wrong. They were already walking away when they heard the sound again. This time, they knew something was wrong. Florencia told her brother it sounded like a fallen bird, and both of them started searching for the animal to rescue it. But what they were about to see was nothing close to their imagination. Luckily, the cries kept on coming, and Florencia and her brother found themselves approaching a tree as they followed the sound. From afar, they saw something crouched on the ground. To their surprise, it wasn't a bird. They became very curious and quickened their steps. When they were only a few steps away from the tree, they came across a sight that made them flinch. Lying on the ground were two kittens, and next to them was a dead older cat who was probably the kitten's mother. Immediately, the kittens saw Florencia. They walked towards her and crouched beside her feet. It was as if they wanted her to comfort them for their loss. They looked sad and lost, but very sweet. Then she turned to her brother, and before she could say anything, he just screamed, "Let's take them home. I think they heard us and wanted us to come." The two siblings were very happy, and each went home with a cat in their hands. Unbeknownst to them, they had just made a very huge mistake. Once home, Florencia named the cats Danny and Tito. The cats weren't in good condition, but they received a lot of care from the whole family. Unfortunately, Danny died a few weeks later. I was in school when I heard Danny had passed on, and I rushed home immediately to be with Tito, Florencia explained. However, on getting home, she noticed something strange about her cat. Tito was very active and never seemed to get tired. Florencia thought it was very strange for a cat to be that way, but she shrugged off any negative ideas and just considered herself lucky for having such a lively cat. However, this cat's hyperactive nature soon led to an incident that revealed a top secret. 2 months after Tito's rescue, she was running around the house when she sustained an injury that led to a deep cut on her leg. Luckily for her, Florencia was home and quickly rushed her to the veterinarian, where some shocking news awaited her. Once at the animal clinic, immediately, the vet saw the kitten. His jaw dropped. "Is there any problem?" Florencia asked the vet. The way the man kept staring at her precious cat made her so scared. "Where did you find this?" the vet asked without taking his eyes off the cat. For heaven's sake, her cat had a name, and why would the vet refer to her as this? But she was about to learn the reason for this vet's behavior, and it would leave her speechless too. The vet took the kitten from Florencia, and upon closer inspection, he told her Tito wasn't a domestic cat. Unfortunately, he didn't even know what animal it was, but he left her with a warning. Return her to the wild as soon as you can. Florencia left the vet's office dejectedly, but she knew it was no longer safe for the cat to be in the family house. Still, she needed to be sure what sort of animal Tito was. After reaching out to several animal experts, one of them eventually revealed Tito was a wild Jaguarundi Puma. The news crushed Florencia greatly, and she had no choice but to let him go. Tito then received treatment for his leg and was taken to the Argentine Animal Rescue Foundation, where he was eventually released into the wild. Story number 2. One farmer, Elber, was on his way home from work on his bicycle when he saw an unkempt and hungry-looking kitten on the road. The first thing he thought was that the animal was a stray who had lost his way. He looked just like a cat, and I said to myself, "Poor little animal, he must be lost," Elber recounted. The farmer then got down from his bicycle and went towards the animal. He was just so scared and shy when I came close to him. He took a few steps away from me and just kept his head down. I felt very sorry for him. Elber said, "Hey, sweet soul, I'm only here to help. Please make me your friend." Elber spoke softly to the cat. Then he picked him up and rode home. After bringing the cub home, Elber prepared some food for him, and the cub eagerly finished it all very quickly. He must have been really hungry. I just kept encouraging him to eat as much as he could, and he did. So I felt we were going to get along well. In just a few days, Elber became so accustomed to the cub that when he finished work, he hurried home immediately. Upon arriving home, he often found the cub sitting quietly in a corner. Elber thought the cub was very calm and gentle, but after a month, he noticed a significant change. First, he observed that the cub began to refuse the cat food he offered. Additionally, the cub no longer played like the other kittens in the neighborhood. Then one evening after returning from work, Elber noticed something unusual about the cub that prompted him to take swift action. Elber noticed the feline had a long tail and round ears. That was really strange. I had never seen cats look that way, so I knew something was wrong. This farmer then searched online for information about his strange cat. He saw some articles about Puma, and much to his surprise, his dear kitten bore a striking resemblance to this animal. But Elber didn't want to jump to conclusions, so he sought the help of an animal expert. That was when he learned his cat was nothing close to a pet. Indeed, he was a wild animal. A physical exam revealed the kitten was a cougar cub. When Elber initially saved the cub, it was tiny and adorable. However, things would change significantly as the cub grew into a full-sized adult. So Elber decided to take the animal to a rescue facility that had the expertise and resources to care for a fully grown cougar. Even though the cub was no longer with him, Elber would always hold dear the wonderful moments he had shared with the animal.